Goedemiddag, welkom terug. Mijn naam is Isabel Mosk en ik ben de moderator van de breakout sessie in track 1. Mijn laatste gast vandaag is Rudy Hulsman. Rudy is algemeen directeur van Terhills. En vandaag gaat hij ons vertellen hoe je een mijnsite verandert in een toeristische bestemming. Heb je vragen, stel deze dan via de chat. Rudy, the floor is yours.
Dankjewel. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rudy Hulsman. I'm the general manager of Terhills. I'm going to be doing the presentation in English, but at the end we can take questions in Dutch. That's not a problem. I was born in the Netherlands, but I grew up in England, and I spent a long time away from Dutch-speaking countries, so I'm a little bit more at ease doing this in English. I worked in Canada for Yum Restaurants, that's KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut. And then when we moved back to Europe, to Belgium, I started at Walibi, the biggest park in Belgium. After that, Bellewaerde. And after that, I was general manager of Quick Restaurants, which is the biggest burger chain or was the biggest burger chain in Belgium. I'm now the general manager of Terhills, and I want to tell you the story of Terhills. Terhills covers an area of approximately 356 hectares, both in Dilsen Stockholm and the neighboring community of Maasmechelen. And it's part of Belgium's only national park. Shaped by its past as an industrial mining and gravel digging site, the environment today is characterized by lush fauna, flora, huge watercourses, and unique sites. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of the site, then I'm going to talk about all the amenities we have now, and at the end I'll touch on the various challenges we have with the site. Terhills was a mining site from 1920 to 1987. It was called IJs den Mijn. There was mining, gravel extraction, and it created over 1,000 jobs. It also, because of the hard work, had a lot of immigrants that came there, and it's very multicultural. The mine closed in 1987, as a lot of mines did across Europe. There was drastic remediation, and virtually all the buildings were bulldozed and removed. The site was one of 7 mining sites within Limburg, the province, and there was enormous unemployment, and it was a very difficult economic time. In order to help manage that situation, LRM was created. It was founded in 1994, and it started with capital of 250 million euros. That portfolio of investments has since grown today to 400 million, and in the meantime, LRM has paid back its investors 377 million in dividends. The shareholder is the Flemish government, and they remain that. LRM exploits and stimulates economic growth in Limburg. It does so providing business financing, venture capital, developing innovative real estate, revaluing former mining sites, and helping with climate and mobility projects. We, as Terhills, are a daughter company of LRM. So the site actually lay relatively still. There were various owners that tried to do things with it, but nobody ever managed to bring the thing together. And LRM attacked this problem very proactively in 2010, when there was a consolidation of the sites. Between 2010 and 2017, various different pieces of land were purchased to create everything that is colored on the screen there. Then in 2012, once the consolidation had happened, a new zoning was done. A zoning plan that had both nature zones and recreational zones. About 100 hectares of nature and 119 of recreational. On the map here you can see the green areas are for nature and the orange ones are for leisure. After the consolidation and the zoning, in collaboration with Atkins, a consultancy firm from London, the following mission was created for Terhills. Terhills aims to become the leisure hub in the heart of the Euro region. A unique and wide range of recreational activities in an unrivaled natural environment form the basis of this. All of this originated with the industrial breeding ground of the former IJs den Mijn site and developed into a multifunctional, innovative reconversion landscape. Ecology and economy merge together in a sustainable way, and the heartbeat of nature resounds through every future ambition. connecting and strengthening the whole for future generations. So with that hefty ambition, we set about our work. What we've created is the site that's on the map here, with the various activities that I'll explain in more detail in a second. So what do we have to offer at Terhills? Well, we are the main gateway to the only national park in Belgium. We get on TripAdvisor a 4.5 for the various activities that you can do here. And it's got hiking trails that can be various kinds of guided hikes with rangers, and events can be held here. It's actually owned by us, but it's operated by the regional Landschap, Kempen and Maasland. The second activity we have is a cable park. Again, we're the owners and we rent the land out to an exploiter or an operator, Theo van Leerop Holding. It's been open since 2013, and again, TripAdvisor gives us a 4.5 out of 5. So it is of high quality, as all our activities are, and we intend to do so with future activities. There is a cable ski, there is a clubhouse, there is also an aqua park, an inflatable course that you can try to crawl through as team building events or just for recreational purposes. The former mining administrative building, which you can see in the top right-hand corner, which looks almost like a French chateau, has been converted into a 4-star hotel. We currently operate it ourselves. Again, TripAdvisor gets us a 4.5 in terms of satisfaction from clients. It has a conference area, which we're looking to expand. It has a restaurant, and obviously it has 59 luxurious rooms. The biggest project we've been involved in is the building of the resort, Terhills Resort. This was a project that's been long in preparation, and it was officially opened last summer. In terms of timing, it was quite fortunate. It was just as there was a relaxation of the rules regarding COVID, and we saw occupancy way higher than our business plan had intended or expected. And again, satisfaction is very, very high. It's not a traditional center parks in that it's much smaller in scale. There's only 250 houses, but those houses are all of VIP or exclusive standards. So whereas a normal center parks would have a lot of comfort level villas in it, we simply focus on the higher end ones. The swimming pool or central facilities area is also different. It's not your classic Aquamundo, which is a gigantic box with a lot of slides and a lot of activities. This is much more a relaxing area with a whirlpool and with a small children's play area, but with a swimming pool that's inside and outside and has a sort of an effect at the end, so that it looks like it's an infinity pool, and it looks out over the Terhills and the lake in front of it. There's also an indoor playground, a small supermarket, and there's a restaurant called Terland. Terland is a restaurant that has all the classic restaurant activities you'd expect. It is, however, positioned to be at a higher end than you would expect in a normal center parks. So it is, we specifically chose an operator that was not traditionally in what we would call the captive audience market, but somebody who is used to running a restaurant in a street with competitors next to them and has a different perspective on how to serve those customers. We also built a beach house on the beach at the bottom, which creates a second venue and which has a beautiful view out over the lake and the Terhills on either side. We also use the beach house as a beach bar in the summer, but in the winter right now we have an ice rink there, and we have a sort of a winter bar with a winter barbecue event that people can rent. Our next project is an event zone. This is an area that right now is undeveloped, and we want to prepare it for this summer so that we can have an area about the size of a football field where various activities can occur, and we're already setting up some concerts and other activities that we'll be able to do there in the latter half of this year. We try to be very eco-friendly. As I said in the beginning in the mission, we want to be economically sustainable, but we also want to be ecologically sustainable. We have a policy of 100% electric transport on the site. Some suppliers are not there yet, but certainly everything that we run and everything that we rent out is electric. So whether it be golf carts, bikes, steps, or boats on the resort, or if it's the e-bus that can take people from one end of the site to the other, it's all electric. We also had to cut down some trees in order to do this. This was very controversial, and we cut down about 24 hectares of trees in order to create the resort, but we also planted 63 hectares to compensate for that. We used, in the construction of the houses, timber. For example, we have electric fireplaces with a hydrogen effect, so it looks like flames without actually being flames, in order to try to be as eco-friendly as possible. And the resort is 100% electric energy driven, and about 30% of that comes from some panels that we've placed ourselves on our site in other places, some on the water, as you can see from the picture, and some of them more discreetly in a zone that is not visible, but where we can capture sun to help create the electricity for the resort. The cable park is also electric, of course, because it's an electric cable, and therefore motorboats are not needed. One of the other partners we have on the site is Eliza Wellness. This is a quite extraordinary wellness of world class. It has 9 saunas, a hammam, it has 5 baths, it has a wide range of treatments, yoga sessions, workshops, it has a restaurant, it has a crystal shop, it has everything you can imagine. And it has a capacity of 900, it says 400 here, and that's because the operator does not want to give a sense that it is too busy or people are too crammed in, and so he's actually his business plan is to only ever use half the capacity of what it actually could hold. It is about 7,500 square meters. We also, as a neighbor, have Maasmechelen Village, a retail outlet from the Bicester Village shopping collection. And they have over 100 higher-end fashion boutiques, VIP lounge, diverse food and beverage opportunities, and you can also do personal shopping there, it's possible. So that's the portfolio of activities we have. We strive very hard to try and make 1 and 1 equals 3. So we try to create packages and we try to work with all our partners so that people can experience more than one of these points of interest on a stay. However, there are always challenges, and I just want to go through some of the things that we're challenged by and the things we have to manage with this project. First of all, there are a lot of stakeholders. First of all, you have the board of directors, my board of directors for Terhills, but then above that we report to a board of directors from LRM. There's a lot of governmental interaction, whether it be for permits from the local communes, or whether it be regarding subsidies from the province or from the region. And then we, of course, all these diverse partners that we have their own interests, their own objectives, their own cultures, and we try to manage that and manage between them and try to ensure that we create the optimal synergies we can. Also, of course, with the neighbors that we have. So for the board of directors, there are regular meetings. The board of directors of Terhills meet 6 times a year, and the board of LRM we report to several times a year. For the government, we have regular consultation and interaction, and we actively involve the municipalities in projects we're doing to make sure we're all singing from the same hymn sheet and we're all aligned on what our visions are. For the partners and neighbors on the site themselves, we've created work groups. They meet on a quarterly basis. We talk about the communication strategies that each one is following so that they know what's going on. And also when there are events or there are special activities, we look for opportunities to, again, 1 + 1 can equal 3 if we can get the right synergies. We do the same thing for infrastructure because people are building stuff all the time and we want to make sure people know who's building what's going on, and to ensure that we're all well aligned. Branding. So one thing is managing the stakeholders. The second thing is branding. Terhills as a brand wasn't really known beyond Limburg until recently, and there's a number of challenges that come with that. First of all, we have some pretty big partners on our site who have their own marketing cultures, their own marketing positioning, their own marketing activities. Center Parks is one, Maasmechelen Village is another, and of course the National Park also has its own activities. So we need to coordinate a little bit and make sure we're all, again, aligned in what we're doing. And the brand Terhills itself needs to be able to communicate outwardly to potential clients, potential visitors, potential guests. And so we need to make sure that we make the perception of what Terhills is as clear when it's such a portfolio of different activities that are going on at once. And then the third challenge we have, and this is a challenge that you don't usually see in the leisure sector, is we don't have one entrance. You can enter the site either from the north by road or from the east via the village, Maasmechelen Village, or from the south from Maasmechelen. So where are you? Where do you need to go? When are you in Terhills? There is no gate, there is no wall and an entrance like there would be in a theme park or in a cinema or in a lot of other activities. So we have to try and create something to make that perception that you've entered Terhills more tangible. First of all, the brands themselves. There's a line there of the various logos when in 2018 we started the marketing exercise, and then below that you can see the brands that we're using on the site today. The Terhills site logo has changed. I think we've tried to make it a bit more professional. We've tried to make it a bit more sober and a bit more high-end. But then we've also tried to bring the other partners into some form of alignment on the branding. For some, that's easier because we are the owners. For others, it's more complicated. For Terhills Hotel and for the cable park, we can pretty much create a brand family that's very coherent. But then when you're working together with Center Parks, you know, there's a lot of different interests to manage. And what we've done here is managed to create something that pretty much feels like there's a line of consistency between it. And the same thing for the National Park, which also needed to be rebranded because it was called Connectera in 2018. We've now changed that to Terhills main gate to the National Park. So we've tried to align the look and feel of those signs, of the various logos a little bit in order to make that easier. And we've also created a website which talks about Terhills as a destination for leisure activities. I invite you all to go and have a look at it after this session. Any feedback is always welcome. But what we've tried to do is to create a relatively interactive site that highlights all the partners we have, all the activities we have on the website, and then leads you onto their individual sites, but where at least when you enter the Terhills site, there is a consistency to the journey that you can then find more details about the individual partners. The interest in the website has pretty well skyrocketed since 2021, but that's also because we've had a lot of media activity around the opening of the resort. But we've gone from basically 40-something thousand visitors per year to 267,000 visitors. We've also, as I said, we've got the three entrances. What we did was we took inspiration from the logo, actually, where you can see there are the three circles. And we've used those three circles, or certainly the colors there of them, to create a gate north, a gate east, and a gate south. And so the signage now, when you come towards Terhills, or will be once we've rolled it out in the next couple of months, is you will see signage saying you're now entering the area of Terhills. So you feel that there's some level of customer journey. It also helps orientate you, because if you want to go to the resort, you must come in from the northern end of the site. So you need to go right round if you don't know that you're going for gate north. Then on the site itself, we've got a whole signage package that we're going to be rolling out in the next month and a half that will give coherent signage for everybody who's on the site, so that you feel you're in a place that is a whole and not just individual bits and bobs. We've also created maps with information about all the partners that are given to everybody who goes to the resort and everybody who goes to the hotel. Very quickly, I'm just going to talk on the branding in the classic model of owned, earned, paid, and shared media. We use all of those factors. Owned media, we've got all the various social media activities, and we have an app. For the earned media, we regularly take advantage of press conferences when we have news in order to create profile for ourselves and to create buzz. And we generate contact through the help of influencers and bloggers and reviews from clients. Paid media, we've done a lot of campaigning around the opening of the resort. We have a smaller budget for Terhills itself, which we also use to stimulate activity about Terhills as a whole. And there is obviously shared media. Here are some examples of the kinds of things that we do. One of the cheekier things that we did was we went to the coast, and we put a central advert on the tram that goes right along the coast, because at the end of the day, the coast is a kind of a competitor for us. So we put a big advert on the tram throughout the high season to advertise the fact that Terhills is there and Terhills is coming with the resort. So what does 2022 hold in store for us? Well, as I said, we want to finish the eventing zone. We've got the expansion of the cable park. Hopefully, we're still waiting to get the permit for that, but the objective would be to open a second cable line. That way, we'll be able to have the family segment of the market can come to us, as well as the more top sporters that come to enjoy the cable ski. And we're looking at opening a cycling bridge in the next year and a half, because there was always an intention to have a way to go across the lake to be able to do the loop around the lake. And right now that involves going through the resort, and it would be better, I think, for everybody if we could create a beautiful bridge there. So that's another project we're working on. And in the hotel, we're looking to expand some elements, particularly the eventing room we have. And voila, that's a short presentation. Now I'm going to show you a short film to give you the atmosphere of the site and to show you things pictures that are moving rather than just some pretty photos.
Dankjewel, Rudy, voor
Veel plezier.
inspirerende presentatie. Nou, ik ben zelf op Terhills geweest en ik moet zeggen dat ik echt onder de indruk was. Vooral omdat dit zo dichtbij is eigenlijk. Als je dan kijkt, net over de grens in Nederland of net over de grens in België. En je zit echt gewoon in een heel bijzonder natuurgebied. Wat je eigenlijk ziet als je het kijkt binnen mijn vakgebied. Ik heb een... Even kijken hoor. Ja, ik heb een vraag. Moment, sorry. Ik had nog geen vragen, dus ik ga eerst de vraag stellen. Lieke van der Brugge vraagt zich af, dank voor het interessante verhaal. Ik vroeg me af of het mijnverleden nog ergens anders terugkomt dan alleen in het oude administration gebouw.
Ja, dat is een hele terechte vraag. We hebben ook een filmpje gemaakt, een 25 minuten of zo, nee, 15 minuten of zoiets. Dat is een beetje de achtergrond vertelt, waar verschillende mensen praten met inspiratie over het verleden en hoe alles nu is.
Ja?
Die film is zichtbaar dan op het systeem van de televisie in alle cottages en ook op de televisie in het hotel.
Ja.
Zo dat is er wel. We hebben nog steeds de schaagdbok, die daar staat naast de evenementing zone.
Ja.
We moeten nog zien wat we daarmee doen, maar dat is wel een redelijk duidelijk symbool van de tijd van de mijnen.
Ja.
Er zijn ook veel sites van LRM waar meer over de mijnen gesproken wordt, zeker in Beringen. In B-Mine zijn ze daar ook bezig met projecten om die hele geschiedenis toch goed uit te leggen. wij wouden meer mijn verleden gebruiken als een basis voor wat er daarna gebeurd is, dan het hele verhaal te maken. Zo, we praten wel over die tijd van de mijnen,
Ja?
maar onze focus is meer om te praten over de evolutie en de rebirth of the site. En dat nu uitmaakt van een nationaal park. Dat is eigenlijk een ongelooflijk verhaal.
En heeft dat ook mee te maken omdat, uit jouw verhaal hoor ik ook dat eigenlijk dit hele gebied heel duurzaam ontwikkeld is. En dat is natuurlijk een heel, we gaan eigenlijk in de toekomst een heel ander tijdperk in dan dat waar we vandaan kwamen.
Voilà. Het maakt natuurlijk een heel belangrijk stuk uit van het verhaal. Maar in dit geval van Terhills, tegenover misschien andere sites, zoals Beringen, willen we praten over de toekomst en over de evolutie waar het naartoe gaat. Zelfs als we allemaal goed op de hoogte zijn waar het vandaan komt.
Ja. Even kijken, nog geen vragen, maar heb je een vraag aan Rudy? Stel deze dan via de chat. Ik hou het in de gaten. Ik heb zelf wel een vraag. Nou, mijn achtergrond zit in het vermarkten van... ik ben bestemmingstrateeg. En wat ik heel vaak zie in mijn vakgebied... als iedereen het heeft over bestemmingsontwikkeling. En dat zijn dan meer marketingverhaallijnen... hoe ze zeg maar bestemmingen dan opnieuw in de markt willen zetten. Maar jullie hebben eigenlijk echt een unieke kans gehad... om gewoon een heel gebied opnieuw te ontwikkelen. Ja. En wat je tegenwoordig ziet is dat veel meer gebieden in de wereld, in Nederland, in Vlaanderen, noem maar op, overal, steeds meer het gebied willen herontwikkelen. Maar waar start je? Want dat is best een lastig opgeven. Jullie krijgen eigenlijk een nieuw gebied. Ga er maar mee aan de slag. Maar hoe zou je starten als je een bestaand gebied hebt? Hoe pak je dat aan?
Ja, dan moet je kijken wat je troeven zijn en hoe dat je die kunt optimaliseren en hoe dat je met extra dingen die je erbij brengt, nogmaals, altijd proberen 1 + 1 moet 3 maken. Je moet synergieën vinden. Als je iets hebt, dan moet je daarop bouwen en dan moet je dingen vinden die, als je ze samenzet, nog meer beleving brengen of variëteit of samenwerking. Zo, het is een kwestie van zien wat je hebt. Moeilijk om daar een concreet antwoord op te geven, want je moet eigenlijk, denk ik, de omstandigheden goed begrijpen van elk specifiek verhaal. Ja. Maar in ons verhaal, je hebt gelijk, we hadden de blank canvas, we hadden de mogelijkheid om samen met Atkins die masterplan te bouwen om echt alles te optimaliseren.
Maar je kijkt dan wel natuurlijk naar, je hebt verschillende merken onder het merk Terhills, verschillende bedrijven die er zitten. Dus je kijkt dan wel dat het elkaar meerwaarde biedt, neem ik aan. Jullie hebben ook gekozen bijvoorbeeld om het nieuwe park van Centerparks heel anders in te steken dan wat we normaal gewend zijn van Centerparks.
Nee, dat klopt. En dat was ook een stuk van de hele masterplanningproces dat we gevolgd hebben.
Ja, dus jullie zijn eigenlijk eerst gestart met het plan. Met het canvas.
Wat gaan we hiermee doen? En daarna kwam een masterplan. En de masterplan zijn we eigenlijk aan het uitvoeren en nou aan het optimaliseren. En dan communiceren.
Oké, dankjewel. Nou, nog geen vraag, maar ik heb nog wel een vraag. Als je dan kijkt naar die stakeholders allemaal in het gebied, wat zijn belangrijke learnings als je het hebt over stakeholders management?
Ja, ik denk dat het heeft allemaal te maken met communicatie. Niemand is van slechte wil. Het zijn gewoon, de belangen zijn soms een beetje anders. Je moet het doorpraten, je moet zien hoe dat je een win-win kan bouwen van situaties waar soms mensen andere visies over hebben en hoe maak je dat beter voor iedereen. En daar moet je tijd in steken. Dat is gewoon een kwestie van tijd insteken.
Oké. Als laatste vraag heb ik, zijn jullie het meest duurzame gebied in België?
Dat weet ik niet, ik hoop het. Dat is zeker onze ambitie.
Is dat ambitie? Mooi gezegd. Nou, dankjewel voor je presentatie.
Met plezier.
Nogmaals dank voor het verhaal. Dit was de laatste breakout sessie in track 1. Vanaf nu hebben we nog 2 plenaire keynotes. Om 2:15 start de eerste keynote spreker, dat is Ron Simpson. Ook wel bekend als meneer Avocado Show. Hij is creatief ondernemer, maar hij doet veel meer dan dat. En om 3:00 sluiten we af met Rafat Ali. Rafat is de directeur van Skift. En hij vertelt ons de trends in de reisindustrie. Dus ik zou zeggen, blijf erbij. Zoom in om 2:15 in de studio bij Rens. En ik wil jullie hartelijk bedanken en tot ziens wensen.